one of the funnest tasks we did was the preliminary task, and I remember it took us quite a long time at the beginning.
like
Because
an hour
at
to
first
get
I
the
done
first
it
shot.
and then I couldn't get it right and then you done it. It was so funny.
We had basically planned. I think the whole concept was yours, wasn't it?
No, just
the little
first
how the
3
creative
shots.
scenes. No, but we sat down and talked about it.
Yeah.
And some of your ideas were really good, and we said let's just go and
Yeah,
get
like
with
the
it.
storyboard that we
Yeah,
did.
the storyboard
Yeah.
and it was just amazing on the spot. So we started shooting, and we were shooting with Selena in front of the camera, but she had difficulties. We had to.
Because I was
I
kind
don't
of
know how many shots we did of her running from the
more
end
than
of the
10,
corridor.
trust me. More than 10.
It took us nearly an hour to get, but it wasn't working. And then finally, it was decided I had to come in and do the shots. And I was like, okay, fine, let's just get this done. And finally, we managed to finish on time and edit it. It was hilarious, but I think we learned quite a lot of stuff.
We
from
had a
it.
lot of teamwork as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, commitment was the key.
I
as
think
well,
that,
so that
I think we just learned the whole concept of filming and how to be professional people. You know, when we were
without any
when we were
arguments.
we
or
were like
something.
students, but when we were shooting, we took our roles seriously.
Yeah.
Whether it was director, producer, to costume designer, to creator for, you know,
Came across problems and stuff. We didn't argue like you'd expect.
So sort
we
of
just got on with it and laughed and
commitment
carried on.
and just getting on with it.
And I guess this will benefit our film as well, because at the start we didn't really know as much as we do now, and that does benefit the film because of the editing, the sound, you know, the shots.
Yeah.
Definitely yes, because when you're shooting, like Louisa said, the story might be very forward, but when you're shooting, some of the scenes it doesn't work. It just goes completely opposite. And sometimes when you're even shooting, you think, fine, it looks good, and then when you reveal later, you're like, no, this just didn't work. So that was really important to review later. But I think the good thing with us was that we made sure we had enough shots. We took a variety of shots,
Yeah,
so we
that's true.
weren't really like, okay, oh my
We
god.
weren't limited when it
Yeah,
came
we
out.
were not
and the
limited with
settings as well,
editing.
because we chose settings, but we didn't know which one would go well with it.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
we done different.
The biggest problem with our film was not in terms of setting, in terms of story, in terms of representing the story.
Yeah, we did kind of
Change a lot. I feel that the
and
whole
get
story
we
changed
got
a lot.
lost in it as well, because we had the exact story, but
It was hard
over-
to portray on camera
yeah.
because it was a fantasy, and that's
yeah, because on the storyboard we had an exact thing, but then over time it kind of changed. So we changed the storyboard altogether as well from the original one.
Definitely, yes. So some of the stuff we left to kind of get on with it later in terms of research and planning, because some of the things would change so drastically. As a student, I think I learned that we shouldn't complain from films that we see are turned from, you know, that are represented from books such as Harry Potter, because people often disagree or say, you know, it was nice but it wasn't as good as the book, and obviously it cannot be now that we have shot our own film, because not always what you want will
Yeah.
come out in the film.
Yeah, because we thought the story was, well, I think
Pretty forward.
yeah, it was easier to understand rather than the film. You needed to, you know,
you need the
get
visual,
the
not just the
yeah,
words. So.
yeah, you need to get the idea.
And again, we're not as professional, and we don't have all the sort of, not technology, but the sort of like, you know, our film was fantasy there, that
yeah, they
element
needed,
of
like visual effects and
magic
stuff
needs
like
to
that.
be there,
Yeah.
which we didn't know how to
And we
either
were
use, so
limited of it as well.
limitation was there always. But anyhow, we did good, a really good experience, wasn't it, Selena? Definitely Selena, because she did absolutely fantastic acting. The other sort of question was audience, and to be honest, with our target audience, we had a lot of discussion, and we were quite confused.
Yeah.
We didn't know the way I viewed it, and luckily we all had the sort of same feeling about it, that our story doesn't really target on one sort of audience. because of the genre.
It can
Yeah, it's a
fit
mixed
with both the
genre.
young adult and adult and both genders. So
I think it's just a matter of interest, person's
Yeah.
interest. Some people are more, like I disagree with watching horror movies. Some people say, okay, fine. So yeah, that was
that
the
came down
discussion.
to interest, not so much age.
Yes, so we sort of left it really wide. We said, okay, fine, this is really a bit thingy, but we left it from 15 to 50, sort of.
Yeah.
And we said this is really good in terms of our film because audience will have different perception, and based on their choice, they will have different outcome or
Yeah, because it will range from
Yeah.
like romance, fantasy, you
Yeah.
know, all those kind of genres as well.
definitely.